Okay, so hello to everyone. I'm going to speak a little bit about warehouse management only mode. This is a new feature, not so new, it's a couple of years ago, but I have the opportunity to implement it in a project. So I I'm really excited about it because it changed the way that warehousing is made or is implemented in the past. Okay, so let's dive in. Just a slide to get to know me. My name is Mariano Martinez, as Ana said, like the actor in Argentina. Um, I'm a Microsoft MVP for business applications, and I'm a principal solution architect from Axon Consulting. I've been working in Dynamics for the last, I think, 12 or 13 years. I'm also a co-author of this amazing piece of literature, which is a book about supply chain management, which I wrote with Juan Bravo, which is in the call around here. It's a book dedicated for supply chain, so it's a really good first step to dive into the application. And here are my contacts if you want to ask about anything about supply chain. I'm able to. So let's start with the topic today. We are going to see quickly, because we have like 15 minutes, about warehouse only mode, which are the most common scenarios to implement it and how it works, and a quick demo if we have the time. So warehouse only mode is a functionality which you are going to implement only the warehouse management over the supply chain modules, and it's a legal entity that is dedicated only for warehouse management. It doesn't have the accountability or anything else about warehouse management. So this allowed to implementation to have like real scenarios where, for example, multiple companies are integrating into one big distribution center, and you don't have to switch between companies because you could have all your stock shared between all your legal entities. Or, for example, if you want to implement, I don't know, for example, Business Central, and integrate your warehousing into F&O, and then go back to Business Central to do the financials. Okay. So, for example, these are the most common scenarios that we could have in warehouse only mode. For example, when you are implementing only the supply chain processes, and you have your external ERP as Business Central, for example, or SIP, whichever it is. So you take the sales order and purchase order from your external ERP and integrate it into Dynamics SCM, the warehouse operations. So you will have like an inbound shipment order that comes into warehouse operation. You do all your stuff, and then you communicate to the other system, the other ERP, the result of that, so you could do the financials in the external ERP system. That's one way. This is pretty common for example, third-party logistic, which didn't have the inventory or didn't own the inventory of the other company. So you could separate or segregate, for example, between owners and brands and so on. Another scenario is if you have, for example, multiple legal entities like this, and you share, I don't know why it's changing. can I stop this? Okay, I don't know why it's okay. So you could have these multiple legal entities, and you share your distribution warehouse, and you create a new legal entity only for distribution. So what you will have is, for example, a sales order or a purchase order from multiple legal entities, and it's going to have all of these supply chain processes in between your distribution legal entity, and once you end with this or you distribute everything, you communicate again to the legal entity. So you don't have to create an API or a development about this integration. So what you could do is only create your legal entity, and you would have your on-hand inventory segregated by owner, which is an amazing upgrade from the warehouse management system, because in the standard WMS you couldn't use the owner the owner part of the system. So this is a great scenario for these cases. And for example, another scenario that you could have with this functionality is when you share the operations. Again, it's changing. You share your operations, but you share your warehouse with another ERP or another legal entity, but you have purchase and order processing in the same legal entity. So in this case, you would have financials over this company or this legal entity, and also you could have external, let's say, on-hand inventory from another company. And you could do the logistics or the distribution part of the other company. So you could share these operations. Again, this is just 3 common scenarios, but you could have whatever you want, because it's like an integration. It's an API where you use only the SCM part of the ERP. So how this is working? Okay. This is information that I take from the Microsoft Learn, and this is the way that is communicating between one ERP and another. So when you create a purchase order, an invoice shipment order message is created in warehouse management. We're going to see that in a minute. And then you do the receiving, the put away, and complete the receiving process. This is a new steps that you can communicate to the other ERP or the other company that you are complete with the receiving process. And in this step, the other company can finalize the purchase order processing and do the costing and so on. Same happens with the outbound process, which is pretty much the same. I'm not going to dive deep because we don't have so much time. And if you are doing on-hand updates, you could integrate between counting and all the process that you have in inventory internal processes, okay? Let's dive into AX. I'm seeing a raised hand here. I don't know if you have any questions.
Yes, I do have one question, if you just can allow me to ask.
Yeah.
So, can we use it for the logistic companies? Like, for example, if they have the warehouses and they just provide the warehouses services. So, is it possible to integrate it with multiple clients' ERP systems?
Yes, you could. I currently implemented in a company that have multiple legal entities associated with it. So I have one warehouse, one distribution legal entity for, I think that is 10 or 12 companies. So yeah, you could have, even if you have a 3PL scenario, a logistic scenario where you don't have you don't know the inventory, you could do it as well. So I'm going to show quickly purchase order processing, and I will try to explain quickly the setup that you require. Then you're going to see how you could do this segregation between companies and so on. So I'm here. I have this Contoso distribution warehouse, which is my warehousing company, my warehousing legal entity, and my USMF company I have in this other tab. So first of all, what we are going to create is a purchase order. We're going to procurement and sourcing all purchase order. I'm going to create it quickly. So I'm going to hit new. Any vendor is okay for me. So 101. And in here, the important step here is to give it a warehouse that is associated with the process. Okay, so in this case, I created this warehouse. If I go into quickly to the setup of this warehouse, the warehouse has to be activated to warehouse management process, and you need to set up this part, which is the external warehouse. It's an externally managed warehouse, and you have to say it in which integration you're going to use. So let's dive quickly here. And in here, you are saying that you are pointing to the legal entity that is going to manage this warehouse, and also which are the source system that is set up in the distribution company. So for example, I have here two integrations set up. One is the USMF company and another is the USPI, which are going to separate or segregate my inventory between the owner dimension that we have in the inventory. So now I can use it like this way. And also you have here, for example, which is the processing policy for inventory reservation, if you're going to require for reservation beforehand, or you're going to reserve the inventory in the outbound process, outbound shipment order, and so on. So this is how you set up the scenario for this process to work. Okay, so going back, I'm going to create my order. So in this company, which is the USMF, my item, which is this one, sorry, this item is set up for warehouse management processes, okay, with all the setup that is required for it. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to confirm this purchase order. Once I confirm this, you're going to see that a message is shown that it says that an inbound shipment order is created for the external warehouse. Okay, so here you got purchase order sent to external warehouse management system. So what is doing here is integrating with my order company, which is the responsible for handling the warehouse operations. So if I change here and go to my inbound shipment orders, here is message center for, sorry, okay. So here I got my message center for every order. If you see here, my purchase order 426 is now created as external order. And if we enter here, we are having all the message that, all the information that is from this order. This screen is pretty much the same as a purchase order, okay? But in reality, it has little information. So here I have my message. I have a process that is running and is creating the inbound shipment order in here. So what we can do, as is an open order, we can receive it with our warehouse management app. So I created a menu here. So if I go into the inbound part, I have my inbound shipment order and put away. So we can receive this operation in my warehouse. So I'm going to create, receive my order 426 in here. Sorry, I have my phone working. Now it's asking me for an item. I'm going to create it by hand. So now I have my item, and it's asking me for the quantity. So I'm going to hit 10 units, and I'm going to confirm that it's going to go to the receiving dock, and then it's going to give the put away order. So I'm going to confirm my put away. Once I'm done with this, I have to say to Dynamics, hey, I completed my receipt process. So I have to scan here the load that this order is received. So I'm going to copy it real quick. Here it is. I'm going to paste it. And once I confirm this is well completed, you're going to see that the order, the status is updated to received. And this allows me to integrate with my other company to do the receiving process as well. So here in the external warehouse integration monitoring, I have my message, which is going to impact to the other warehouse, to the other company, legal entity. So I saying, okay, I received this in my warehouse, so you can process the receiving process from this purchase order. So now what I can do here is go to my receive and post my product receive. And if you could see, is updated as a registered quantity. So I don't have to do the receiving process in the same in this company, because I did it in the warehouse. So here is the seamlessly integrating. Sorry, I didn't specify the number. It's seamlessly integrated with both legal entities. Okay, I don't know if I have more time, but I think not. So this is the thing that I want to show you today. I don't know if you have any questions about it, because we did it real quick.
If you want to take a couple more minutes, you're welcome to. And there are a couple of questions in the chat. One of them is, have you faced scenarios where it makes sense to make a separate SCM instance just for hosting warehouse only mode?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Let me put it in the chat. So the first one is, have you faced scenarios where it made sense to make a separate supply chain management instance just for hosting warehouse only mode?
Yeah, for example, I work in a car dealership where they sell different parts. For example, a Chevrolet or a Ford, and they have different parts of these vehicles that were stored in the same warehouse. So for costing purposes, they shared all the distribution center between all these legal entities. So when you receive one part, you're stored in different parts or different zones of the warehouse, and the picking process were done by different people, for example. But if you have the standard dynamics, which the WMS module between or for each legal entity, you have to switch into each company to do that. Okay.
Awesome, thank you. And then another one. Given that you've implemented this, have you ever had to interface with any ERP systems that were running on an AS400? I don't know what that is. I'm looking for ideas or examples on how others may have done this.
No, in this scenario, but if you could send from the AS400 some XML or JSON to an API, you could do it, because the message, you could see it in the learn link that is in the PPT. I'm going to share it with you. In the Microsoft Learn, you have all these XML or JSON that you could use, and they are pretty simple to fill that up. So you could integrate with AS400 if you could send this XML.
I have a follow. This is Brian. I got a follow-up question on that, and it seems like in where I kind of operate in is the Midwest of North America, and there's a lot of AS400s out there, and there's a lot of opportunity for warehouse only mode in a number of these areas. And I'm also an AS400 guy. I've been doing that for many years, but and I think this is more of a generic question relating back to the interface and how those messages and those updates are going back to whatever the system of record is. In general, when you send that message back with the update, whether it be an inventory update or a picking update or a ship confirm update, things of that nature, how is the interface, or how are you updating the system of record? Is it a SQL update eventually, or is it a situation where you would invoke, say, a business function within the system of record to invoke or to execute a transaction based on the information that was sent back? Or is it something where it's going to be different every single time?
It's going to be different every single time, because you have to interpret this message in the source system. So in some scenarios, you could have some API built to do this, or a service, or an SQL, for example, interpret this message and change by SQL, which I do not recommend. But yeah, you have to build in the system that you are integrating with, because most of them don't have this integration.
Sure. And in part of as part of an implementation of warehouse only mode, I would assume that the building of that integration to update those source records within the system of record would be a big part of that implementation.
Yes, the good thing is that from the F&O side, you have built this. There is an API working, so you have to consume this service in the external ERP to use it, but it's a big part of the implementation. Depends obviously on the system that you are integrated, because AS400 is it's hard to do some changes in that system, but I don't know. We had a customer that have AS400 and they built a layer to integrate with another system because they have CRM and so on. So it depends.
So yeah, they created a group of external tables like that they would send their information to, and that's where the interaction of the data would take place. That makes perfect sense.
Like a middleware or something.
Right on. Okay, thanks.
No problem.
I think Mangesh, you had your hand up a while ago. I'm wondering if you still have a question.
No, it got answered. Thank you. I appreciate
it. Thanks so much, Mariano. Yeah, go ahead, Mangesh.
Sorry, beg your pardon. But this will, if we are going to sell, like I'm talking like a business prospector, like I'm a salesperson, but then convincing $110 only for warehouse mode, will it be economical viable? Does Microsoft is offering some different licensing term for this?
I don't think it is. I have to check that out, but let me answer you later on because I don't know if it has a different licensing. As this, in my case, as this was part of the bigger implementation, we can manage with the licensing that we have. But I assuming I have to check it out. But I'm assuming that you have the same licensing that you need for a new environment, which are the 10 minimal license for this. Good thing is you could use activity licensing for these WMS users, and that
I understand
much less.
Either we should end up taking device scale, but item receiving becomes like a commercial hit, like it hits the principal tables of finance. That's the reason they will ask you to go with a full user licenses.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, so the point is clear to me. So there is no separate license till now. It got introduced by Microsoft for
not at this time,
only
no.
for Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So much time. So
no, that was great. Clearly, folks are interested in it. So thank you so much for